To keep or not to keep?
Hey guys, I'm Justin, owner of Horrorland Media. As you just saw by the intro, we're back with a brand new episode of To Keep or Not to Keep. This one's been a long time in the coming. I don't know, it's probably a month since we've done one of these, if not even a little longer. So as you can tell, I'm solo. Lee has a cold. She's just a little nasally under the weather, doesn't feel the greatest, so I'm doing this one by myself. We didn't have but 4 joint watches anyways, and so she's resting, feeling better, and decided I would do this one so that I could get these keeps up on my shelf. We've been premiering Mothershucker Part 2, and so I've been trying to get the media room in a little bit better space, and just having discs laying around absolutely everywhere with Scarefest coming up and everything wasn't really part of my plan. So I'm trying to get stuff on the shelf, so wanted to add these if we're going to add them, or get them in the convention stock to take to Scarefest if we're not. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We'll do our joint watches first. First up here is Queen of the Damned. This one will be featured later on this week as we do our vampire films on the road to Halloween. So this one, basically, you have a vampire, and he's tired of being in the shadows. He's tired of living life shrouded and away from humanity, and so basically he joins a rock band. He's the lead singer, and he basically lives among the humans, and the queen basically is awakened, and she is trying to basically take over humankind with him and screw all humans, and he kind of takes the side of humans because he's lived amongst them. And he understands that they're not all monsters, and so just the inner workings of all that. Like I said, this one will be featured later on this week. We'll talk a little bit more about it. I do enjoy this film, don't get me wrong, but this is not a film that I would ever watch again, probably. For me, it's a vote to sell. For Lee, it was actually a vote to sell as well. Like I said, we both enjoy it, but it's one of those films that we didn't have to have on the shelf. Next up, Lilo and Stitch. This comes as an extremely high recommendation from me. If you guys have not seen this since it's been out, run out, pick it up right now. We loved this film. It was so good. Basically, you have Stitch, an alien. He comes down. He is basically an experiment, and he comes to Earth, and the alien mother lord sends 2 goons to capture him, and basically he finds his way into the home of Lilo. Lilo lives with her big sister. Her parents have passed. And so it is just about the camaraderie. When Stitch comes in, he messes up a lot of stuff for him, and actually gets Stitch almost gets Lilo, taken away from her big sister. And just some of the things, I mean, she did a good job of that herself with just some of the choices that she made. She wasn't prepared to be taking care of Lilo at her age. This is a really good family film, has a great story, and Stitch is phenomenal in this. The way that they made him and the way they made him look. This is an extremely high recommendation for me. Me and Lee both agreed, vote to keep. Next up, we just got this one in the collection update last week, but went ahead and watched it, and that is Coffin Tooth from Scream Team Releasing. I was not a fan of this one. Basically, this is Coffin Tooth is like they're almost like a Texas Chainsaw kind of family. It doesn't really give out any backstory whatsoever. Basically, this guy, sheriff, comes in, and he's like, we have evidence that you dug up your child from the graveyard, and they wind up killing him. It's like the woman and these 2 brothers. They kill the sheriff, and then it says 30 years later, and you have Coffin Tooth, who looks as if he's like 80 years old by his face, but like 20 years old by his hands. And he's just going around killing people. The blood is not really good in this. The effects are not good in this. The props look like foam. I mean, you can see it. The concept's really cool for Coffin Tooth, and I really wish this had been better. It's not the worst low-budget film I've ever seen, but to come from Scream Team, it's definitely not one of the better ones either. Again, for me, space is becoming ever an issue, so for me, not going to clutter the shelves with this one, vote to sell. Next up from Umbrella, this is Boiling Point. Me and Lee both watched this one as well. This has Wesley Snipes and Dennis Hopper? I believe, yes, Dennis Hopper right there on the front cover. So basically, Wesley Snipes is a policeman, or maybe he's a detective. He's a cop who's reached boiling point, so he's a cop. And basically, Dennis Hopper gets out of jail, and he's like, I want to make one more really big score. And basically, they wind up, he and it's Viggo Mortensen, they wind up getting together, and the Viggo winds up killing another fellow cop who was Wesley Snipes' like best friend, and so he basically has to go after these ghosts because they don't honestly know who they are, and they're fixing to transfer him because he's so close to the case, and he's like, give me a week. I think he actually asked for 2 weeks, and the guy's like, I'll give you a week. And so he has to go through and put everything together within the case. Overall, pretty good. This was a Wesley Snipes film I had never seen. Dennis Hopper plays a good character in this because he's not just ruthless. He's out dancing. He's out this, that, and the other. He has a new lease on life, and you can tell that struggle is definitely there within his character of doing good and doing wrong. I think that he is honestly trying to make one last big score, and get out and move on with his life, but the demons of his past kind of drag him back in. Overall, really enjoyable film. For me, this one's going to be a vote to keep. Lee agreed with me on that one as well. So far out of the 4 watches that me and Lee did together, we have 2 keeps, 2 sales. My chair is sliding. I'm not sure. That's why I keep repositioning. So let's go ahead and get into everything that I watched by myself. So starting here is a release from Kino Lorber. This is The Best of Times. I had never seen this. I had a DVD of this. Actually, my dad had a DVD of this in his collection. I kept it because of Kurt Russell and Robin Williams. And I had it for a long time, and then I traded it to get this Blu-ray. Lee honestly was just never in the mood to watch this one, so I watched it by myself one day. This was such a phenomenal film. Basically, you have Kurt Russell is a quarterback of his high school football team. Robin Williams is like a third-string wide receiver. And they're in the championship game against their most biggest rival that they've never, ever been able to beat. And they finally this year have a chance to beat them. Kurt Russell throws the ball, and Robin Williams drops it. And so all these years later, they're still in the same town. They're broken down. They're dilapidated. Kurt Russell now owns his own auto body shop. He's kind of a swindler a little bit of a con man. And then you have Robin Williams working at a bank. And everyone kind of makes fun of Robin Williams, and it haunts him, and it's really hard for him to move on with his life without remembering the dreaded dropped past. And so now all these years later, he kind of comes up with this idea that they're going to get that exact same team back together, and they're going to play this team again. And no one really goes for it at first, and then Robin Williams kind of devises this huge plan to kind of make them go for it. It's funny. It's really just a good football film from 1986, one I'd never seen. For me, definitely vote to keep. Next up, Dario Argento's The Card Player. This one is pretty cool. So basically, this is a giallo, and so you have this man, and he is taking these women and tying them up, and he's sending out to the police this encoded card game, and he's like, if you play me, the first one to 5 wins. So if you win 3, you can win at 3-0, or you might have to go all the way to 5. But if you can beat me, I'll let this girl go. If you don't beat me, and for every hand I win, I'm gonna cut something off of her. And if I wind up winning the game completely, I'm gonna kill her. And so it's just about, it's a giallo. It's all about he keeps kidnapping these different women, and then finally the ending there is the whole kind of thing is unveiled and everything else. Not the greatest giallo, not the greatest Argento film. This was a later Argento. Let me see here, the date 2003. So this was definitely a later one from him, but it was still fun, still enjoyable all the same. For me, going to be a vote to keep and a new addition to the Vinegar Syndrome collection. Next up, this was a bootleg that I bought off eBay. This is Pumpkinhead, Ashes to Ashes, and Pumpkinhead 4. Blood Feud. So these both were really fun. I was actually pretty surprised at how fun these were. I had actually never seen these, and of course Scream Factory released part 1 and 2. So when I found this, I had to grab them. So Ashes to Ashes actually has Doug Bradley in it as well. And so it is basically this mortician of this town he's keeping the town alive by not burying the people that he says he is. He's not cremating these people. He's actually keeping their remains and selling off organs and things. And basically, when one member of the town finds out, she calls upon Pumpkinhead, and Pumpkinhead gets his revenge. The other one is Blood Feud. Blood Feud is these two families, kind of like the Hatfield and McCoys. They are feuding, and of course there's a boy and a girl from each one side of the family that have fallen in love. And once some members of the family wind up finding out, they actually go to kill the boy, but instead of killing him, they actually wind up killing their own sister and kill the girl. And so when they do that, of course the boy resurrects Pumpkinhead, and no one is safe within either family. Really good double feature. I think both of these were played on like the Sci-Fi Channel back in the day. I don't really remember a whole lot about them, or even if I'd ever seen them, to be honest. A lot of people rag on a lot of these later, like straight to DVD kind of films. I actually enjoyed both of these very thoroughly, and definitely a vote to keep. I think they're good additions to the collection. I would love to see them get like an official Blu-ray, or for us to get like a big box set. I think that'd be really cool, although I don't know that that'll ever be anything that happens. Next up, though, moving right along, is from the Asylum, and that is Death Valley, The Revenge of Bloody Bill. So this one's basically Bloody Bill was killed in this ghost town, and these kids wind up running through the town, and of course they have the proverbial car trouble and everything else. And Bill winds up coming out, and if he kills you, he adds you. Not only does Bloody Bill come after you, there is a horde of the undead, and it is all the souls that Bloody Bill has taken. And so, if he for every kid he winds up killing, they kind of come back as the undead. This one for me, I got this as, again, kind of that whole straight to DVD, Asylum, Screen Media films kind of line. But for me, this one just kind of fell short. I was not the biggest fan of this one. Again, space is of the essence. So for me, this one's going to be a vote to sell. I hate to do that because, I mean, it was still fun, but it by no means was great. Lanterns Lane. I actually just bought this one not too long ago at all, and we wound as part of the Walmart Halloween collection. I think this was like $7.96 or maybe even $9.96. This is from Vertical Entertainment. I think this is 2022 or 2021. And Lanterns Lane, this one never really got going. You have this girl, and she kind of comes back after being gone. She's gone off to college. She's moved to the big city, and she comes back to the small town, and she's at the bar drinking, and they wind up going to this house. And honestly, it's like 45 minutes before anything ever really happens in this. And then once things start heating up and once things start happening, it's not all that great. I really hated that because the killer on this I thought looked really cool. It's pretty easy to see the twist coming a mile away. If you watch like the first 10 minutes of this, you can pretty much piece it together, especially if you've seen a lot of like twist slashers like this. They try to be smart and they kind of fall just a tad bit short. And this one for me, just, I don't know, it just fell short on a lot of different levels. I wasn't the biggest fan, didn't love it, vote to sell. Full Moon right here with the release on Blu-ray of Arcade. This one I was on the fence with. I buy pretty much anything that Full Moon puts out on Blu-ray because I love the company. And so I bought this one. I watched the trailer, and even if you guys will remember back in the collection update, I was like, I don't know about this one. I don't know that I'm going to like it. And I didn't. The effects were really bad. They were really poor. I knew that going in, even from the trailer. But I don't know. This one for me just never really got going. These kids play these video games in this arcade. There's a new game brought in, and it's basically like a virtual reality, and it's ever changing. So these kids can't really beat it. And they finally get transported like within the game. I don't know. It just, for me, it just kind of fell short. I didn't love it. Vote to sell. We're down to the final two. I'm kind of going through these a little quickly here because, again, I don't have Lee, and we're just trying to knock this one out, show you guys some of the things we've been watching and get these on the shelf. Next up is another Vinegar Syndrome, and that is Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD from Troma. I had seen this prior to, but upon the rewatch, man, I really understood how stupid this film is. But it's actually really funny. So I guess I don't know if it's Japanese culture or exactly what it is, but in their culture they have a Kabuki Man. And the Kabuki Man is basically this... I don't really know exactly what he is. He paints his face. He's kind of a crime fighter. So anyways, the Kabuki Man has been, they're basically doing a show on stage. And one of the members of the NYPD winds up going there, and they actually winds up being a big shootout. And the Kabuki Man spirit is actually accidentally transferred to him. And so here you have this white guy who has absolutely no idea what the hell is going on. He has no idea what Kabuki Man is. And so basically, I think I don't know if it's the daughter or the granddaughter, she basically has to take over the training of him and basically helping him to learn what Kabuki Man really is. The puns and stuff in this one are hilarious, though. This falls right up there. This is one of the highest ranking, I cannot speak. This is one of the highest ranking Tromas that there is. It's so fun. It's stupid, but it's fun. Definitely high upon the list. If you haven't picked this up from Vinegar Syndrome, do so quickly. I'm not sure if the box is out of print or not. But this one's fun. Like I said, stupid. Tons of puns, but fun all the same. Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD, for me, vote to keep. And then lastly, right here to end the episode, we already know what this one's going to be. I don't really even have to show this off or talk about it, but I will. It is The Deadly Spawn from Synapse Films. I love The Deadly Spawn. I've always loved The Deadly Spawn. It is an absolutely terrible film, but I love it so much. This basically, these aliens come down, they take up residence in this basement, and upon a stormy, rainy day, these kids are at home doing a science project, and they wind up meeting their match in the Deadly Spawn. And the Deadly Spawn is one big creature in the basement, and then it kind of spawns these little slug looking things. Those slugs were always crazy to me. The party scene with the woman and her mother and all of the mother's friends, that scene is hilarious to me. Like, one of those little slugs gets in the blender and takes a ride, and then the slugs kind of invade. They're like gnawing on their ankles and stuff and on their faces. They're almost like big turd leeches or something. This movie is great. For me, it's great. A lot of people, if you've never seen The Deadly Spawn, you may have a differing opinion of that, but I personally think The Deadly Spawn is great. And I don't want to get in trouble for showing too much of the gore here on YouTube. Let's take it out of that slip cover. Let's just show the cover there. But Deadly Spawn, I absolutely love it. Synapse has done a phenomenal transfer of this from 1983. This looks phenomenal, the best it will ever look. If you're on the fence, spend the money, get this film. You'll thank me later. You'll enjoy it, especially if you're a fan of like 80s cheese and camp. You'll enjoy this one. But The Deadly Spawn, for me, like I said, kind of goes without saying. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer to know my decision on this one. But Deadly Spawn, for me, 100%, without doubt, without falter, going to be a vote to keep. So that's going to do it for us this time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 films to keep. I believe 5 films to get rid of. So we'll run through those again. We have Arcade on Blu-ray, Lantern's Lane on DVD, Death Valley, The Revenge of Bloody Bill on DVD, Coffin Tooth on Blu-ray, and Queen of the Damned on Blu-ray. All up for grabs, all going in the sale pile. Everything else getting added to the massive, massive walls. I mean, you guys can't even see but this one shelf, but I have 2 more walls lined with movies. So we've got quite a few new things to add to it, and hopefully next week we will be slow enough we can, me and Lee can wrap up several watches that we've been wanting to get through and have those done. So that being said, though, we are getting ever so close to Scarefest. That is October the 17th, 18th, and 19th. Make sure that you come out, join us in Lexington, Kentucky. We do have, I've got some signed copies right here, right by me, so we'll show these off. We do have Mothershucker 1. We do have Mothershucker 2. And then, of course, we do have Twisted Gables. So you can come out, you can get one, you can get two, you can get all three. We'll be doing some bundle pricing for you to pick up these 8X Productions films. We're super excited to have Mothershucker 2 available. This will be the first convention ever, and then of course Twisted Gables is the first time in Lexington. So super excited to have those. Movie number 4, we're getting ever so close to filming it. Things are heating up. Look forward to being able to release some information on that pretty soon. That being said, that means you're going to need to follow us on all the social medias down below and hit that like and subscribe button here on YouTube so that you can keep up with us here as well. This has been another episode of To Keep or Not to Keep, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you later this week with our vampire film episode as we get ever so close to Halloween, on the road to Halloween. Tune in, like I said, later this week. We talk all things vampires. Thanks, guys.
To keep or not to keep.